Welcome to Real Estate Agent Superstars. I'm your host, RJ Baxter with Intercap Lending. We have a special guest today, Tiffany Carroll with the Fletcher team at eXp Realty. And Tiffany has been a huge producer in the state of Colorado for a long time. And she's here to share with us some wisdom on team building and the power of their team. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before I start my conversation with Tiffany, I wanted to remind you that if you get value from this podcast, please share it with other people in the industry that you know. That's how the word gets out. So I just wanted to remind you of that. So welcome to the show, Tiffany.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate you being here. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in real estate? And tell us a little bit about how you started.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've been in real estate for about 8.5 years. Started out kind of, waited till the kids got a little bit older. Didn't think then it kind of, I'm getting too old. I can't do this. And I was in my 40s already. So I didn't think I could quite do it. Had some good encouragement from some other agents that I knew. And I've had a lot of people asking me to be a realtor for years since my kids were babies and now they're in their 20s. So finally just decided, okay, I'm going to go for it. And got my license, didn't get a lot of traction in that first year, as a lot of agents don't, and was able to connect with my partner, Amy Fletcher. And as she puts it, I was a little chihuahua that didn't leave her alone. And so I was kind of one of those, but I want to do this and I want to do that. And I was with a different company at the time. And finally she gave me a chance and she said, fine, come on over. And I don't want to be a partner and I don't want a team and I don't want. And, here we are about 8 years later together and have a pretty good, strong team.
Nice. So how did it come about then with the conversation about the team if Amy didn't want to do that at first?
Yeah, it kind of grew just naturally, really. It started, well, maybe not so naturally. It was her and I. We were just out there killing it, just the two of us, really making a name for ourselves. And I got pretty sick, actually, and ended up in the hospital. And we kind of realized that maybe two people can't do everything by themselves. And so then that's where we started kind of expanding and considering bringing on other people. At that point, we had already gotten on an assistant. It was just the three of us at that point. And so then the assistant had already been interested in being licensed. So Amy pushed her really hard while I was sick, like, you need to get your license. And then from that point, it just kind of started growing and we've taken on more agents. We really kind of try to work with people who've had their license for about a year, really helps us, or more, and really haven't gotten the traction that they need. There's a lot of people get them and they say there's a reason that they say a lot of agents fall out in that first year, not a lot of support out there. So, but we like people to kind of see what it's like on your own and then, what we have to offer. And at that point, we usually find that we have some good leadership for them and people have a tendency to stick a bit better.
Okay. So what was the big epiphany? Did you always believe in a team or was there something that kind of clicked for you where you figured out that was the way you wanted to go?
I think for me, it was truly, it was more Amy that didn't want to really do it at first. She just was she'd been a solo agent and she did well on her own. And for me, it was seeing that it's really hard to get started in this business without having a really good, strong mentor, somebody that's out there to back you up. There's a lot of programs that even say, they offer mentorship, but as agents, we get really busy and you have to be with somebody that's truly committed and wants to help people. So that's sort of where it just kind of kept progressing. So I started out obviously as a solo, like everybody does. But then once I connected with Amy, I realized the value of having somebody there with you that's that close. And then we just kept growing with it. And so when we started the team, again, Amy had her license longer than me. She'd been around a lot more people. And our philosophy has just been treat our team like we want to be treated. So I think that's really, a lot of agents ask us. I've been Amy's right hand for, years now. And we've sat down with many team leaders that want to know our secret sauce. And it's like, there's no real secret sauce. Just treat people right and, give them what they need, the tools that they need. And they usually have a tendency to stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you find it challenging at first to find the right people or did you Did you make
We
some
still
mistakes
find
early
it,
on, or?
we still find it challenging sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's where we've kind of taken the turn of knowing that we want somebody that's had at least a year under their belt. That really helps them a lot to truly have that appreciation. We've had some that come right on and, you know, they're newly licensed and they get a feel. One of the first things we tell them is it's not as easy as it looks from the outside. And, you know, everybody sees us out there. We drive nice cars, we take vacations, right? The realtors that are doing well. What they don't see is the commitment behind the scenes and
Mhm.
the, you know, long hours, especially the last few years. I think we've lost quite a few newer agents the last year or
Yep.
so as things have changed. And so we've lost some of that. So we still find that a bit challenging, but we really try to work hard with meshing our personalities and agents that we try to understand what their needs are as well as ours. That, you know, not every agent is going to go out and sell 100 homes a year, and that's okay.
Mhm.
So you have to, as a team leader, figure out what level of people are you're going to have. You're going to have the ones that may only want to work a certain amount, but then
Mhm.
that's kind of one of the bigger hurdles is figuring it out, because they all come on, everybody comes on and says, I'll do everything, I'll do it all, I want to take it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they realize that everything's not everything always.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's important to look at what each person wants for their own personal goals. Like you
And
said.
we've also been really, our team, as we've developed, we have, you know, those that have been here for a while with us, 5 or more years. And we've kind of gotten into a groove of what people really sort of specialize in. We've got
Mm.
one agent that is extremely strong in land and horse properties and those kind of items. We've got other ones that, you know, we all are really heavy on military. We are based out of Monument. So we do a lot of
Mhm.
Colorado Springs. We get a ton of military. That's a big one for us. But as we figure out each of our agents' strengths, we try to really work towards those. One of our other team leads on our team, she is just a mastermind when it comes to technology. Do not ask me to do that for you because you will be in trouble. But
Yeah.
I can present and show you how to do contracts and, you know, how to talk to clients, and we'll have no problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of qualities do you look for in someone that might be a member of the team and enjoy being a part of the team?
Well, I think, you know, number one, personality is huge in this business. And
Mhm.
listening to a lot of podcasts ourselves and everything else, I think, you
Yeah.
know, if you can find a personality and somebody that really wants to work, that's going to be number one. And, you know, since this
Mhm.
is mostly directed towards agents, that kind, you know, we're kind of chameleons. We have to, you know, just kind of float along with everybody. And you have to have that sense of not being super controversial, or, you know, you can get along with pretty much anybody. You walk in, your top agents will walk into a room and can talk to anybody in that room. So for me, my little first time buyers, I love them with all my heart. They are truly a passion of mine. So I can
Mhm.
sell anything from 150 up to, you know, my highest has been like over 3 million. And every one of those clients get treated the exact same way. So that's a big philosophy for our team, is that, you know, we are not too good to do absolutely anything. I have a $16,000 piece of land under contract right now, you know, and I want to
Yeah.
work with that
Treat everyone the
client
same.
100%. So
Yeah.
that's a
I
huge
love that.
philosophy for our team.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So, tell me more about your team. How's it structured? Do you have admin people too, or is it all agents, or how do you have that
No,
set up?
we're pretty fortunate. So we have a listing assistant. So she goes in, helps us get all of our listings ready, you know, preps photos. She comes to us with those, helps us make sure we're getting dotting all our you know, I's, crossing our T's, that kind of stuff. Then we do have a
Mhm.
TC for the entire team.
Okay.
We do also have a philosophy that our newer agents don't do. We require them to do so many contracts with us as the leads. You'll get a mentor when you're signed on. So depends our
Mhm.
you know, how long they've been in the business. But as a standard, you're required to do at least 10 listings and 10 buyers with us. But we have
Okay.
support staff for all of that. Then
Okay.
I'm taking a little bit of a step back. I've been an actual team lead since the beginning. I'm still a team lead. I'm still mentoring all of our newer agents, taking a little bit more of that focus than, again, not super tech savvy, that kind. So I'm
Mhm.
letting the systems and everything go to our other team lead. Amy oversees everything. And then I'm kind of a little more of the people person. And then we've
Okay.
got, I think we're bringing on a couple new ones in the next month or so. So I think we're at about 11 or 12 agents and then 2 support staff.
Okay. Okay. Nice. How have you decided over the years what certain people do, what the transaction coordinator does, what your agents do, that kind of thing?
You know, I don't think it's ever been anything we've really thought out, right? A TC, our transaction coordinator, is someone that's been in the business for a long time. So she
Mhm.
actually has helped us because we were very hands-on. We can do it all, but when you are
Right.
getting up into some of these higher numbers, you can't. I am constantly getting extra help. Our listing assistant also does a lot of personal assisting for me, keeping my files in order, things like that in my
Mhm.
actual office. We actually have something really cool. We're getting ready to open an office. We have not been in
Oh,
an
congrats.
office. Yeah, thank you. We're very excited. It'll be downtown Monument. Very exciting.
Awesome.
So yeah, we haven't really had a centralized location. We've done a lot from home. We're really big on letting people do their own thing, and so the people that we bring on, if you produce and you follow up on your leads and you do the work, we're not going to micromanage people. And people seem to fall into their natural roles just kind of organically.
Okay. I was going to actually ask that as my next question was what you do to support the team and mentor them. Do you provide, besides just the mentorship, do you provide training, and
We
how do
do.
you help
Yeah,
them to
we
succeed?
have a university that they can go through, and well, that not can need to go through. So that walks them through all the steps. We have, written papers on how to fill out a contract, right? So before they
Mhm.
ever even start writing their own necessarily, they start writing them for us. They shadow. We're big believers in getting in our cars, getting at our desk. So that's kind of where
Mhm.
I take more of it. We tell people you'll learn more just sitting with me than you could learn probably reading everything that you can out there. Sit in
Absolutely.
my car, ride around with me, listen to how I talk to agents, how I talk to clients, lenders, title, everybody. So we're
Yep.
very, very hands-on.
That's nice because I think that's so important. I think that's critical to have a mentor like that. And I think that's one area where some agents miss out when they first start out is they try to
I
do it all
definitely
themselves.
agree. Yep. We get
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of those people. I have one right now that, we just joined on. She's been in the business now for 9 months. She's had a
Mhm.
couple of mentors and, but she says she's been with me, driving with me for a week. And she's like, holy smokes, I've learned more, than anybody. Because a lot of times, and that's what I found myself was I was assigned a mentor, but I didn't even know what to ask. So one of our favorite things to say is you don't know what you don't know. So, how are you supposed to
Right.
even know what to ask me if you're not doing business? And, you go sit as a
Totally.
new agent, you sit in these classes, you learn about CTM, you learn, but it's foreign. It's like a foreign language. So, we want them to just be out there
Yeah.
with the real world. I'm, again, not super strong my designations because I have to, not because I want to. I am a
Mhm.
hands-on person. I want to be out there talking and doing with people. Where
Yeah.
we have another one on our team, we actually have a couple that love them. They'll go out, take every class they can. I don't learn as well that way. So I have a tendency to teach a little more hands-on.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too theoretical when you're just watching classes. Like I
Yeah.
do the same thing on the lending side. I'll take a class on whatever it is, a loan program or something, and my eyes kind of gloss over. And I'm like, all right, when I do one, then I'll really learn it. So,
Exactly. And then if you have that person to turn around to and say, okay, I vaguely remember hearing about this. Now, how do I implement it? How do I actually make this work? I think
right,
that's
right.
huge. So I tell people, I even do it with my first time buyers, right? I say, I'm going to walk through these steps with you really fast. So I'm going to be talking to you. We'll talk for 20 minutes or so. This is what you can expect. I do not expect any of this to stick in your brain. What I hope will happen is that you'll turn around and you'll be like, Tiff said something about this. I don't remember what it was, but she said something, and then we'll go
Right.
back and revisit it when the time is right.
Yeah. Knowing at least the overview or the basics and the general idea, and then being able to apply it later or get into it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
When I started in the business, I've been doing this 20 years now. So I learned the same way with a mentor, where the guy that recruited me, literally back then, you didn't have to have an office. There was no licensing or anything. So he was working out of his apartment, and we literally sat in the same room. One of the bedrooms was his office. And literally I would listen to him call a client, then he would listen to me and then critique me. And then I'd listen to him call a client, and then back and forth we did that for a couple of years, really. And that's what made me what I am, is just, sapping that information off of someone that was experienced and knew what they were doing.
I
So,
just can't see it any better way, and it kind of blows my mind sometimes that we don't have that. And as a general rule, as realtors, we're kind of jerks to each other, when people are starting out.
yeah,
I'll admit it, it's just such a competitive field. And, everybody's kind of trying to show everybody up, and, I've got to bigger this than you do. And so if we can just slow down, take the time. But I think where a lot of mentors and more experienced agents, they start to get a little burned because they give out this information and then these people disappear, right? And they go away or whatever.
mhm,
I have a little bit of a philosophy that as long as I'm putting better realtors out into the world, what have I hurt? I haven't hurt anything. Until I know that you're super, super invested, I may not give you every one of my secrets in the world, right? But I'm going to still put a good realtor out into the community.
Yeah, that's a great philosophy. And I think that's an abundance mindset, that there's plenty out there for everybody. And
There is.
it's
Mhm.
kind of cool to have that sort of coaching tree, like they say in football or basketball, of agents that you've mentored, and then they go out and they're successful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
It's a little sad. Like I said, you can't compare anything to the last couple of years.
no,
We're losing people out of it because a lot of those agents were just being handed stuff, right? Like there was just so much out there for everybody. It was extremely hard, but you were basically being handed a lead that just converted itself almost. So the
mhm,
struggle I'm seeing with the shift in the market is, do agents know how to truly work their pipeline, talk to their people, follow up, walk them through these difficult times and interest rates? We know these interest rates aren't that bad, but these kids, these people that have just come into the market, they don't know anything but a 2 or a 3%.
right.
So a 6 is, oh my gosh, that's just scary. Where, you talk to your experienced buyers and they laugh, right? They're like, my first house was 13%. This is
Yeah,
no big
yeah.
deal. So I find that to be really fun.
Or even a market where housing has gone down or not gone up.
Exactly. Yep.
That's a foreign idea to younger
And
homeowners.
it's a whole new, one of the things I say I truly love about real estate is every day is different. Every day is different. And, if you think you know it all, then you probably should get out of the business, because there is something
Yep.
to learn every single day. And that's another thing I love about teams. Again, talking to a couple new agents, I had a couple in my office yesterday, and I'm sitting there telling them, the great thing about this in a team is that there's always stopgaps for you. There's always people here. I don't pretend to know everything. So if I don't know it, I go to Amy. If Amy doesn't know it, we go to our broker at EXP.
Mhm.
We also have a great network of really high producing agents that maybe sometimes we just reach out to them. As you build those relationships, it is a true community out here that we can really lean on each other. And I have no problem with any agent ever calling me and asking me for, questions. Can I be a resource? I love that opportunity.
Yeah, that's nice. So, coach us a little bit. How are you coaching your buyers right now with this interesting market?
Yeah. I personally put 10 buyers under contract in December when a lot of other agents were freaking out, right? I was reaching back into my database. I was finding my younger buyers that may have, just given up, literally just we're not going to do it, or we're going to wait till this or that. I was making a lot of phone calls, talking to people. And I was saying like, hey, you were in a market where you were talking about you only had $5,000 to put down for an appraisal guarantee. I'm telling you, not only can I most likely get your closing costs covered, I can also probably get a reduction in this price. So every single one of those houses I put under contract in December, I either got a price reduction, a 2-1 buy down, or closing costs covered, or all of the above. So it really is
Nice.
about knowing what you're doing, having good, and it is about your lenders. It's about having a really great community in general that I I didn't really know 2-1 buy downs. I didn't understand them.
Mhm,
To be
mhm.
perfectly honest, when I first started hearing about them, I was like, this is horrible, horrible idea. Like, what's going to happen? These kids can't even remember that I told them that the water heater was 15 years old. How are they going to remember in a year that their payment's going to go up or whatever? So it
Right.
was just, it's again about me getting coaching from my lenders, letting me know what to do, and then just reaching out and passing down that information. So anybody that is not working their pipeline from, the people have fallen out, send them my way. I'll work it for you.
Right. Well, and this kind of goes back to the beauty of a team also,
Yep.
having that time and space to be able to do that within your business and not be bogged down by all the minutia of
Very true.
running the business, doing the nuts and bolts of the contract, these kinds of things. In my opinion, so key to having a successful business, because that's also the way to stay away from the roller coaster.
Yep.
And, there's so many agents I talk to, they put 3 or 4 contracts in, and before you know it, they're super busy. They're up to their eyeballs in the busy work. And then they're not calling their clients. They're not
Yep.
following up with prospects. And then they have that slow month because they weren't doing those basics of marketing. So,
So true, especially, when you're new. But again, you don't know what you don't know, right? So
mhm,
they absolutely do that. They have a tendency to focus on the couple that they're working. And there's a lot of hours we put into this. It's not, this is not a 9 to 5 job. I'll get the parents that'll call me, went to school with my kids or whatever. And, oh yeah, my little one's in school full time. I think I might get into real estate. And I'm like, we as experienced agents can tell the part-time agents in a heartbeat,
oh yeah,
and I literally, people, you read my reviews and it's like, does she ever sleep? Yes, I sleep, but I just, you don't know what I do. And I go on
yeah,
vacations. And that is another thing that I really love about a team. You always have somebody there for you. I'm getting ready to go out of
yep,
town. I have some agents that are going to be my boots on the ground, but I write contracts. But you know what? Writing a contract sitting next to a pool is pretty darn awesome. Other than being pulled over in the come and go parking lot, try to do it real fast, right? So I can
right.
absolutely do that. And that's another real benefit of a team.
Yeah, and you do a lot of your upcoming trip is part of your team going, from
It
my
is,
understanding, right?
yeah. So, yeah, again, treat the people the way you want to be treated. And one of our benefits is that once you reach a certain level in sales, Amy takes us on a trip and we get to go. So this year we're trying out with some husbands too. Well, all of our husbands. We are mostly a female team. We've got a couple guys on our team, but yeah, we're bringing spouses this year. And it's just, again, it's the little rewards too, the little,
Mhm.
Amy used to joke with me. I can be easily bribed, right? You put a goal in front of me, and you're like, "Hey, if you do this, I have a surprise for you." It'd be a Coach purse or something, right? I'd find out about it, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to blow that out of the water." So we like to do that as well, as give little incentives to people. We help them keep up on their continuing education, things like that, to just make it understandable. We also understand that as a new agent, you're broke. We are usually broke.
Mhm.
It seems like that first year, everybody has their hand out. Everybody needs money, and
Yeah.
you're paying your dues, you're paying for your house access, you're paying for everything. So we try to do little things like our newer agents. We'll pay them to sit home inspections for us. So they are learning while they're there. I say the majority of what I learned about homes, I was raised by a single mom. I didn't know anything about fixing homes. A lot of what
Mhm.
I learned sitting home inspections and listening to my home inspectors talk. So we find that that's a good benefit. Oh,
Oh,
sorry. I don't know
I
what just
got you
happened
still.
there.
I got you.
Sorry about that. So yeah, we find that if we are able to put them in those situations, but we're also paying them. We're paying them a really good hourly wage. So they have a little bit of money to help them move along as well. So we make it kind of a
Ooh,
learning while you're earning type process.
that's nice. That's nice. Well, it's time to wrap things up. It's already been almost a
I
half
know it
hour,
goes so
believe it or not.
fast.
Yeah.
I know. I thought, how are
Um,
we going to have enough to talk about?
I know it's just there's
I
so
could talk
much
to you
though
all
with
day.
team. I think your insights on team building are awesome because there's so much around that. Um, just for a parting question, what would be your words of wisdom to someone that's out there doing a pretty solid business and they're just, they have that control freak mindset. They don't want to give up those tasks. They want to do it all themselves. What would be your words of wisdom for someone that's in that position right now?
Yeah, that's a great one because I was that person, right? And I still have a
Mhm.
tendency to be that person.
Mhm.
And that puts me realizing that I'm working at my desk till 10 o'clock at night. So my words of wisdom are let it go. Use your energy in the best places possible. Use your energy for your clients. Make yourself available for them. Make yourself available for your family. Do not give up your family. A lot of us have a
Yeah.
tendency to do that. And if we can give up those little pieces and let other people, inspections are a great example. I struggled with that. I want to be there. I want to see everything they see. But if you can let other people do some of those for you, in the long run, you will sell more homes because you'll be able to. I will be perfectly honest, during COVID, I was selling about 150 homes a year myself. I cannot do that by myself.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm back down to about 100, which is what I like in a year. It gives me a little bit more time to be able to focus on people. So if you give up those other little items, it will pay itself back tenfold.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's no one that wants on their gravestone someday to say, rest in peace. This person worked the most hours of anybody.
Absolutely. Yep. And
No
it
one
is
wants that.
hard. And I think in this industry, we have a tendency to be control freaks. So, if
Absolutely.
you give it up and again, I just can't explain it enough, it will come back to you.
Absolutely. I'm a control freak too. I'm a recovering control freak. And the way I got around it is I define what my staff does, what my people do. So I control what their job description is so that I can then hold them accountable and then I control what their roles are. So
I
that's
love that. And